Hello, my name is Tolulope Oladipo. I'm a student in the EDTC 615 class. My group is Group 6, and my group member is Michelle Bear. This is I'm gonna see this as a project. It's a data review project. We completed at the University of Maryland University College. I'm a professor, and my subject area is computer science and information technology. The grade and the age level of my students, most of the students I teach are freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors. I mean, all college students, okay? And then they are 18 years plus of age. Before I begin, I'm going to take you through the agenda. Okay, so what we're going to discuss today, first of all, I'm going to give you the overview of the data action model. I'm going to show you the processes and the data collected by my team. I'll show you the target learning goal, the evaluation metrics we use, the artifacts collected, action planning tracking sheets, action plan revised. I'm also going to give you insights. I'm going to let you know my lesson learned from these old data action processes, and also my area for future growth, and then my area of strength, okay, and then some challenges and also recommendations. I'm coming up with some recommendation, from this whole process. Having gone through the agenda, I'm going to give a brief overview of the data action model. So the data action model by itself involved, diligent work by the team members or the PLC members, and this was what we saw in my group, where we embark on the task of improving student success. So the action model itself is systematic and is circular. Okay, it's a circular process for reviewing and responding to data. Also, the data action model entails three stages. Okay, so the first stage has to do with gathering and reviewing of data, and then you identify the gaps in the data. So the gaps could be learning gap and instructional gaps, and then there's going to be planning and evaluating actions. Okay, these three stages came up with it ended up in 5 meetings. Okay, so here you can see the meeting one was about gathering and reviewing data, and then next to meeting 2, where you triangulate the data, and then meeting 3 and 4 and 5. Okay, 4 here is where the team planned for action, and then in meeting 5 we evaluated sources. So for the data action model in action, I already told you what each of the meetings entails, but briefly for data meeting 1, here for my team we gathered data. We during our meeting 1 we collected artifacts, we look at student grades, we came up with exploratory questions, and we review some additional data. So we decide what each of us was going to bring, and here comes the exploratory questions we decided. It was just the 2 of us, and for the first teacher, we came up with this exploratory question. That's for why do some students score better on some exam and not on others. So we came up on this for the data my team member presented, and for the data I presented, why we came up with why do some students perform better in the previous term average than the current term. So I showed the data that compare 2 terms. Okay, so here is the data. The student information is hidden. Okay, this was midterm in fall 2016, and then looking at the midterm again in fall 2017. Okay, you're able to spot the differences, so we consider this as well. And then for the data meeting 2, here we triangulated some additional data. Okay, and then we also came up with our notice and wonder statement as well. Okay, we also look at some data like the student grade, the student grader exam simulations, and so many other data. We reviewed the Microsoft Suite. We use Quizlet and transfer of learning, Uniplan, and Percy My IT Lab. So at the data meeting 4, here we determine gaps. Okay, we look at the existing gaps, the instructional gaps and the learning gaps. Okay, looking at the instructional gaps, we actually look at the artifact earlier. Okay, we are look at the artifact earlier. This is the artifact for my data. Okay, we came up with some observed gaps, the instructional gaps, the learning gaps. Okay, and then on this we identify the significance in each of them. These were based on the data we presented. We identify those gaps from the data we presented. And then another important artifacts we reviewed, we set the goals, but before we set our goal, we went forward to do identity set. Okay, we set identity, and then we in setting identity, here is what we did when we set the identity. We went ahead, okay, to identify the learning gaps. We prioritize the learning gaps and the instructional gaps. You saw through the artifacts that there were so many gaps we identify, but from all of these gaps we selected the ones we felt they are so relevant. Okay, we reviewed them, and then we selected the learning gaps that are most relevant and prominent, and then instructional gaps that are most relevant and prominent. And from there on, we set the smart target learning goal. Okay, I'm going to show that to you in a minute. So this went over what I just discussed with you, and the smart target learning goal for the first teacher. Based on the exploratory question, we came up with this learning goal. By the end of the month, we want to give practice tests the day before the exam. That's what my team member want to do. And for my own exploratory question, I set this target learning goal. The percentage of students who will score 90% will increase by 80%. This means that 80% of the students will score 90% in the current term. Okay, now the data planning for action, that's the meeting 4. Okay, here we review strategy and activity with activities we develop and data action plans, and we also did some research as well, really. So through the research we came up with the original data action plan. I'm going to show that to you real quick. So I was looking at simulations and demonstration of Microsoft Suite to students, and also real world projects which weren't present in my class in the past. So these were introduced in the action plans. The deliverables, there were planning protocol rubric, the planning protocol for Quizlets. Okay, this were the protocol we developed, and the rubric as well. Now the communication protocol we used then was through email, phone, and conferencing. Okay, and now when we now look at the success, looking at we evaluate effectiveness of implementation. So now I'm going to show you the reverse action plan. Okay, here we have reversed my action plan. Okay, we started implementing the action plan in the classroom, and we recorded huge success. So introducing simulation training in the classroom, teaching Office 365 application software and Microsoft Suite, using simulation training. The most important part was the real world and project-based learning for the students. So here students were posted to departments on campus where they actually have the hands-on experience. So they acted as administrative personnel on campus and had some hands-on experiences using Microsoft Suite, okay, which was the topic that was being taught. Again, the communication protocol was by email, phone, and conferencing. Now, insights. This is very, very important. Okay, so I'm going to look at the insights I gained from the whole process. First, I the first, like I mentioned earlier, the most important insight was the fact that I could have students being posted to the administrative unit on campus, where students had some real-world hands-on experience with using application software, either for Word, Access. This is very important because it introduced students to doing it themselves, doing it in action. Okay, so teaching application software like Word, Access, Excel through project-based learning. In this case, students had real-world projects. They work on projects and they came up with some deliverables. Then there were projects and presentation in the classroom. These were insights I actually got from the whole process. And then improve instructional design skills. Okay, as in addition to being a professor, I'm also an instructional designer. So I had my skills increase as well, and teaching styles was increased as well. And then regarding growth mindset, so I had a renewed growth mindset. So these are additional lessons learned as well. I'm able to make important decisions out of data. I'm now able to take a structured look at data. Unlike in the past, looking at data, I could make a rash and hunch decisions, but now I'm able to take a structured look and then spot hidden challenges and trends, and not just jumping into conclusion. These are some additional lessons learned as well. So I'm now very proficient in data review. Okay, I'm able to empathize now. So because I was able to see the learning gaps and instructional gaps that existed in my classroom, so I could empathize with my students. These have been improved. Time management is an area, this project was time consuming, and so one has to be on top of one's time management. Data management, curriculum redesign, these are lessons learned for me. And these additional lessons learned, there are so many lessons learned from this. My areas of strength. Okay, so I've grown as a facilitator. I facilitated this our meeting several times as an organizer, researcher. We did some research, making some posts on Diigo. So during this research, I've also gained more research skills. Team builder, my team member was wonderful, so I learned a lot about team builder, and then I show my strength as well. Note taking skills as well is a strength for me. And then requirement gathering of data is another strength for me. And networking as well, being able to bring my team member together just like she did as well to me. My area of growth and future research, this is very important to me as well. Curriculum management and redesign. I want to see how to better redesign and manage curriculum. And then I want to see how to better handle data review on stress. Okay, the old review was too stressful, it was time consuming, it required a lot. So I'm going to look at this as an area of growth and future research for me. And very important, this is very important to me. I feel for this whole process, it has to be managed. Okay, so there should be a project manager. So I'm looking at how one can implement project management principles in the data review process. And in the book as well, I didn't really find much about FEPA in our data action model. So I'm looking at this as an area of growth as well. I want to probably research and see on FEPA view on data review, coming out with student data, sharing the student data with, even though the review might be on your campus with your colleagues, but they didn't teach the students as well. Now, the useful protocol. All right, for me, the 4A protocol is so useful, and I really like the 4A protocol because it helped me to make improvement with reviewing data, either my team data and my data. The 4A protocol also helped me to make some impactful, positive decisions. Okay, so I was able to analyze data better, to examine data, to review my teaching style and learning outcomes. So found some erroneous practices that I was involved in, causing some instructional gaps. So it's as a result of implementing the 4A protocol. The Tony protocol is very useful as well. It helps me to examine and enhance my teaching and style and my student learning style. Previously I didn't know how important it was to send students to the administrative unit. The topic I taught, on which I